Hello students, Namaskar. Today we will be doing the chapter Bholi from Footprints Without Feet, the supplementary reader. The chapter number is chapter 9. It is written by author Khwaja Ahmad Abbas, popularly known as K.A. Abbas, born 7 June 1914, expired 1st June 1987. Is also known as K. Abbas. He was an Indian film director, screenwriter, novelist, and a journalist in the Urdu, Hindi, and English languages. He has won 4 National Film Awards, and internationally also he has won the Palme d'Or award in the Cannes Film Festival, what you call the Cannes Film Festival, and the Crystal Globe at the Karlovy Vary International Film Festival. He was a director, screenwriter, and he is popularly known for being the screenwriter for many hit films of Raj Kapoor Sahab like Awara, Shri 420, Mera Naam Joker, Bobby. He is one of the pioneers of the Indian parallel cinema or the neo-realistic cinema you call. Introduction: the story of Bholi alias Sulekha. Actually, her name is Sulekha, but she comes to be known as Bholi. It takes the readers to the complicated social structures of a section of Indian families. The Indian families which are biased in their attitude towards daughters, the discrimination they used to do, and the manner in which this Bholi is victimized by this patriarchal mindset of a family and the people around her evokes both pity and anger. We feel pity and we feel anger at the same time. In addition, the ill treatment meted out to the differently abled children, as depicted in the story, it compels the readers to think about the silent evils that plague our society, which are dangerous, to the society, to the culture. However, the courageous defiance by Bholi in the end, it assures a ray of hope for us that all is well. The summary of the chapter: the story opens up with introduction of a little girl. Her name is Sulekha. She is called as Bholi, which means a simpleton. And why is she called Bholi? Because as a child her brain had got damaged due to an injury. She had a injury in it during her childhood, and she started stammering. She had pock marks because when she was 2 years old she had contracted smallpox at the age of 2, and because of all these things she was a laughing stock for everyone. Her father Ramlal, he was a Nambardar. Nambardar is a revenue officer who collects the revenue on behalf of the government. He had a big family, 3 sons, 4 daughters. Boli was the youngest of all. Ramlal, he was always worried, what will happen to my daughter? It is like almost impossible to marry her because she has an ugly face, she has a dumb mind. He was always worried. One day, a Tehsildar, he visited the village. He had come to inaugurate a girls' primary school. He persuaded Ramlal to send his daughters to school. Then Ramlal's wife, she always thought that no boy would marry a girl who is educated. So Boli is not going to get married ultimately because she has pockmarks, she stammers. Who would like to marry her? So better send Boli only because she has no chance of getting married. Now Boli, she is very frightened to go to school, to leave the house. But when for the first time in her life she is dressed up properly, her hair is washed and is oiled, then she feels, oh, it's a better place to go. And in the school, she is very fortunate to meet a teacher who is very kind, very polite, very considerate, and who encouraged her to study and not to stammer and speak with confidence. Now, this filled her with a new zeal and enthusiasm, with a new hope in Bholi, and she began to go to school every day. Years passed by, the village is upgraded, it's become a small town. Many facilities have come down, like a cotton mill, a cinema hall, a primary school wing. It's become a secondary school. Everything is growing up. One day, Boli's parents, they decided, once now she is grown up, it's after some years, so they decided to marry her. He is a lame old man. His name is Bishambar Das, and he is a widower. He was quite rich, but he did not demand any dowry. And when in olden times, when somebody is not demanding dowry, it was a very big thing. So they thought, oh wow, what a proposal. The daughter is so dumb and she is getting a proposal. So they fix up a marriage. On the wedding day, this December, the bridegroom, he arrived with great pomp and show with all his friends. And now Ramlal was very happy. He was filled with joy. He never imagined that Bholi could ever get married with such great pomp and show. The groom, by chance, he discovered that Bholi, though she is young, but she has pockmarks. She looks ugly. And now what happens is he demanded dowry in return for marrying her, and he demanded 5,000 rupees. You say either I am going to marry, then you give me 5,000 rupees. Now what happens, as you must have seen in movies, Ram Lal, he begged for mercy, he even placed his turban in Bishambar's feet, but Bishambar did not agree. Sorry, Ramlal had to give him the money in order to save the izzat, the family's honor, daughter's marriage, all those things. They are all playing on his mind. So what he does is, he agrees to pay 5,000. But when he agrees, Bholi, who was watching all this, she says, no, I don't want to marry him. She refused to marry this greedy old man. Now everybody was there. Oh, see, the father is doing everything to save the izzat, the reputation, the honor of the family, and she is so seamless. She is not, concerned about the family. The wedding party returned. The marriage ceremony, it ended without Boli being getting married. The father, he was surrounded by grief. He was very sad. And now he was like, who would marry my daughter? What would she do in future? He was very worried. Now when Bholi sees him so worried, what she does is, she replies to him. What she says is, she would take care of her parents, and when they grow old, she will be the one who will look after them, and she would like to teach her school, the alma mater where she has studied, the same school she would also like to teach. Now at this particular moment, the teacher was also there. She was quietly watching all this, and she felt very proud of her decision, that she has made a difference. For a teacher, it is one of the best things to see his or her students succeed. So she was very happy. She has carved a masterpiece like that. The theme of the story, the theme is love, encouragement, and sympathy. They can strengthen even the most of the tormented souls. Those people who have been tormented, tortured, if you give them love, encouragement, sympathy, it can strengthen them. Whereas if you do some sort of bias in any form, it can wreak havoc in a person's life. It can destroy his life completely. Boli is a victim of gender bias. Gender bias means boy, girl. She is being discriminated based on the gender. Since she is a girl, she is kept illiterate. So physical disability also is there. She is not physically capable like others, and she does not have a not so very pretty appearance also. She is very ugly. However, compassion and support, they groom her into a very confident individual. She is being given compassion, kindness, she is being supported by the teacher. Now she becomes a confident individual, capable of accepting challenges. With the desired assistance from a teacher, Boli empowers herself in knowledge, and she stands up for her dignity. Now, this rise from a dumb cow to a lightning thunder is inspiring. She was a dumb cow when she was being suppressed both at her home and outside in the society. She was acting like a dumb cow. But ultimately, education, okay, education does wonders for her, and now she is a lightning thunder. So this rise is inspiring. Hence, the theme of love and support, it stands validated. We can say yes, it is very much valid, that love and support. Now the message, Bholi imparts a very clear message. What is the message? Certain evils in the Indian social system must be rooted out. the gender bias, okay, the dowry system, all these evil systems, they must be thrown away, they must be rooted out. K. Abbas, he voices his displeasure about the discrimination between sons and daughters that is practiced in the not only rural middle class family, I would say it is practiced in almost every family. It used to be. Nowadays it has become very less. And in his own inimitable style, he is critical of the practice of keeping the daughters illiterate. The daughters being kept illiterate, so he is very critical. He does not want that. Now he brings to light also what the inhuman reaction of people towards those who are differently abled. If somebody is not capable enough physically or mentally, so we are treating them with some inhuman ways. So he is very critical about that. This inhuman reaction shatters the self-confidence of those affected and that pushes them further into darkness. The evil of dowry system is also criticized in the story, and what message does it convey? That there should be equality for women and men. They should be treated at par. And what the author gives us, he gives us message to build a society, where the girls will be at par with the boys. The girls are at par with the boys. There is no discrimination. That kind of message it gives. The title, aptness of the title Bholi is compact, well suited because it deals with the transformation of an ugly simpleton Bholi into an educated, enlightened, assertive young woman. Okay, she in the first part of the story, when you see she was born fair, she was born pretty, but misfortunes come. She is being neglected, being ridiculed, okay, because of her misfortunes. Then it shows a courageous struggle against that ill treatment which is being meted out to her. And finally, the victory of Bholi as a woman who makes her choices. This all is being portrayed. Now coming to the word Bholi. The word Bholi, it has a range of connotations in Hindi. हिंदी में इसके बहुत सारे मायने अर्थ होते हैं. Where it conveys the idea of being retarded as well as being simple. Somebody is retarded, we call him Bholi. Somebody is being very simple, that she is also called Bholi. So in this story, Sulekha is given the name Bholi. Original name was Sulekha, but she is given the name Bholi because she is not as active and alert as other children of her age, like the children of her age. However, she is also very pure, very simple at heart, a quality that wins her the admiration and support of her kind teacher. Had she not been pure and simple, the teacher would have not supported her. Therefore, we can say that Bholi is the most appropriate title for this story. The ending of the story, it is not the usual ending, it is dramatic ending. It is contrary to the general expectations of the readers. What the readers had expected, usually what happens when the marriages break, they fail, then it was expected that the main character, the protagonist, is supposed to cry to death and she will be doomed and rest and all those things because of the demand of the dowry by the prospective bridegroom. But that does not happen. She takes the bold step. She refuses to be garlanded as Bishambada's wife. No, I am not going to marry you. She simply refuses that. And what happens in doing so? She courageously refuses to be exploited by a greedy man. Her decision to stay with her parents and serve them in their old age by taking up a job of a teacher in her own school, it shows that the ending is meaningful. The ending of the story, it shows the most potent solution. If you want the emancipation or the freedom of the woman or the independence of the women, then what we have to do, it is the most potent solution it is giving. Education alone can bring an end to this discrimination and stigmas, the tortures, okay, the traumas that women have to bear in a patriarchal society just because they are women. Thus, the ending is very dramatic, but it is a powerful ending. Coming to the characters, Bholi. Bholi is the central figure of the story. Her character, it matures as she grows up. Earlier she was neglected and a shy child. Then she becomes a strong and assertive woman. She is born fair. pretty, gets a very meaningful name, Sulekha. But then misfortunes befall her early life. She suffers a lot of misfortunes. She suffers a head injury at the age of 10 months. Then at the age of 2, she has smallpox. Okay, this slows down her reflexes, the head injury, and she is unable to talk like normal children. When she has the smallpox attack at the age of 2, it disfigures her face, it leaves deep black pock marks on her face, and eventually, when she begins to learn talking by the age of 5, she had that stammering problem. She stammers a lot, and because of that, she has to bear the ridicule of others, the other boys, other people in the society. This inhibits her personality. She is not able to flourish personality wise. It inhibits her personality and she becomes a withdrawn child with inferiority. She is nicknamed Bholi, which means a simpleton. This promising young girl, she grows up in an environment where even her family does not care for her. This develops a sense of fear, insecurity, inferiority complex. Now, when she joins the school, a positive change comes to her life when she begins her education at the village primary school. Although she is very ill at ease in her class, she is not very, doing good with her class, but she gradually overcomes her complexes under the loving guidance of her teacher. She gets a very nice teacher who guides her properly. The Bholi that the reader encounters in the end, and the Bholi which we see in the beginning and the one we see in the at the end, it is like a compassionate, intelligent, self-respecting young girl, justifying her name Sulekha. She commands respect by asserting herself and by refusing to succumb to the social pressures. She says, I will command respect. I will assert myself. I refuse to bow down to all these social pressures. No, I will stand tall. This inspiring character earns both the love and respect of the readers. Coming to the father, Ramlal the Nambardar is middle-aged, is prosperous farmer, is a Nambardar, means the collection of revenue is doing, is a representative of the government, he is very conservative, he does not believe in the literacy of girls, old-fashioned orthodox person, and he spends money on the education of the 3 sons. He sends his youngest daughter Bholi to school just to please or appease his superior, the Tehsildar. In fact, he is not in favor, but just to appease the superior Tehsildar, he sends Bholi. He is very cautious about his social status. When he sends her, he asks his wife to dress Bholi properly so that teachers and students, they do not question his position. He is the Nambardar, and how come the Nambardar's daughter is coming like that? So he says, dress up properly. He is also afraid of annoying his wife, and he consults her on all the important, significant, vital issues. He confirms to her, he consults her, and even though sometimes he is not fully convinced, he will agree to her suggestions. He agrees to marry Bholi also like that only, to an early widower, only because his wife has insisted. So he submits to the social pressure. When he asks for dowry, Bishambar, so he submits to social pressures and agrees to give dowry at his daughter's wedding at the insistence of the groom Bishambar, because he feels ashamed to send away the wedding party without solemnizing the marriage. He is very, thinking about the society, log kya kahenge, what will the people say. So because of that, he agrees to give the dowry. On the whole, to sum it up, we can say he is a typical middle class man who conforms to patriarchal practices without trying to analyze the pros or cons of age old traditions. He does not weigh them. Is it right? Is it wrong? Just because they have been happening, he agrees with it. Now the final character comes, the teacher. The teacher, though she appears very briefly in the story, but her appearance is of such vital importance that it changes the entire course of Boli's life. You must have seen in movies, there are some characters who get a cameo role, but they are so effective. Without them, you feel like the movie would have not been possible. Same way the teacher, very brief role, very brief appearance, but it is very vital, very significant for the story. She changes the entire course of Boli's life. The transformation, she is responsible for that. She is very patient, loving, caring and considerate person and has all the qualities of a good teacher. She understands the psychology of children, particularly of those children who are differently abled and slow learners like Bholi. She helps Bholi to overcome her fears and slowly, gradually she instills confidence in her. And it is under her guidance that Bholi learns to talk without stammering. She becomes confident. And just like an artist is sensitive, the teacher is also very sensitive. She treats her students as the pure mediums through which she can express her valuable thoughts. Thus, she admires Bholi towards the end of the story as if she were her masterpiece. Just like an artist, he creates a masterpiece. So, she has also created a masterpiece in Bholi. And in short, we can say she is an ideal teacher who is devoted to her students and is responsible for the transformation of Bholi. Bholi's transformation. The question answers, you can just flip through the slides, stop the slideshow, stop the video, read them out. They're quite easy, or we can take it up in another video. These are the questions 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9, 10, 11, 12 and finally 13. These are the 13 questions taken from the textbook. For more, you can refer the extra, and in case of any doubt, you may kindly drop down your query to me. Thank you.